There ain't no party like a Prydwen talk to a tier list party, is there? Sorry. I got a little unhinged there. I got a little excited. The new Prydwen tier list is here, gamers. And this is going to be going over pure fiction tier list, of course, because we know how much everyone struggled with this pure fiction. Surely I didn't, though, right? Oh my god, we still didn't break with her.
And I'm no exception.
Maybe I did a little bit, but in today's video, we're going to be going over the pure fiction tier list here, going over all the changes they've made to it, and additionally, when Lingsha got added to the tier list as well, because I have some thoughts on the Lingsha placements. So gamers, we're going to start over here at the sustain category first and talk about this, because, I mean, I pretty much agree with this, right? I think that Lingsha does play a very big role inside of pure fiction, just because of how many attacks she does, and not only how many attacks that she can do, on top of this, she's able to hit multiple enemies at one time as well, very AoE focused, very AoE oriented. So I absolutely agree with this right here. I do think that she does stand above everyone else here. Hua very single target oriented here, so I think that she stays there, but she provides energy to the team, so she can allow the rest of the team to get AoE attacks out, aka like someone like Adventurine, works very well there. So I think this slot's fine right here. I think Gallagher's even fine right here, even though that he's very single target oriented. The fact that his ultimate move will hit every single target on the field, and that this pure fiction is very break oriented, I think that he slots in very nicely here. Now, something I do kind of disagree with here to a certain extent would be the viability of feixiao. Now, I'm going to keep her up here for now. If I were to rank how I would like these up here, I'd probably put Hua up here at the front, and then I'd probably move her to the back here on, like, grounds to maybe even move her down to this tier and then move Locha down to this tier. I really don't think Locha is really doing much for pure fiction. I'm not going to lie. All he does is keep the team alive. So, honestly, I'd probably move him down here. Really, anything, like, if I were to put a lineup for this whole thing, guys, I would probably say, like, there's a pretty fine line right here where things like work super good for, and then things below this really don't work well for pure fiction. The same thing goes for Apocalyptic Shadow as well. I think there is a line here that like shows like how great something can really be in this game mode, and we'll get into these other things a little bit later in the video. But yeah, I mean, everything else here I pretty much agree with. I think, like I said, anything below this line is kind of like, it gets a lot harder to use. Let's say these are super easy to use. Everything else below gets a lot harder to use. That's the best point I would make here. So that being said, that's really all I have to say about the sustains over here. I mean, for the most part, I agree with it. Maybe feixiao stays at the back here or gets moved down, just because she's only really bringing crit rate to the team. She doesn't really do much outside of that, and then of course she sustains the team as well. But I mean, everyone else here on this list is going to sustain the team. But she can prevent a CC, and CCs do come up. I got CC'd quite a lot this pure fiction, so maybe for that she stays up here. Yeah, you know what? You're right. She just moved to the back. She prevents CC. We keep her up here for now. Now let's move over to the next category, which is our support category here. Now I do have a couple words here. I don't think that RUAN May should have moved down for this particular pure fiction. Now, if I were to put her in the grand scheme of things for like other pure fictions, then yes, I think that she would be on grounds of moving down one tier. But for the reason that this whole pure fiction is based off a break, and it really caters to you breaking the enemy shield, and that is a key way that early game players and mid game players are able to beat this mode, I would say that she's up here right now with Miss Robin. Robin, obviously, I think is probably the best support in the game right now with all the support that Follow-Up's getting, right? So I do think that she is currently the best support in the game over this. Maybe when we get more break-orienting things that she becomes better, right? But overall, I do think that she moves up for this particular pure fiction just because of the fact that it is so break-oriented. I do think she is on par with Robin. Actually, my clears with her this current pure fiction cycle were better than my Robin clears. I got more scores, so for that reason alone, I'd be putting up here. By the way, they're both E0, S0. I'm using her on a full synth follow-up team, like out the ass. Like, I'm talking E1, S1, Topaz, feixiao, fucking this guy right here, Adventurine. So she's not in the worst team by any means, and I'm also using her on the best in slot break team. So I mean, comparable teams, I would say, right? So for that case, I would be moving her up to this tier. Now, as far as the rest of the tier, I really do think Big J is very, very good for pure fiction, and I would argue to move him up here. He is very good for pure fiction just because he hits all the enemies. He is able to apply debuffs to all the enemies, which is vulnerability, and then your whole team just does extra damage if you're hitting AoE targets. Very, very nice there. Very good. Though that smirk on his face has him looking like a certain someone that's in jail right now, so I don't know if that's sus on any grounds at all. But now let's move over here, guys. Oh, wait, but she could be the real culprit behind it all, right? She could have been all 120 of those victims at the party, surely. And that was not a bad taste joke at all. Anyways, a Sparkly Spoo. Yeah, I just don't think Sparkle Spoo really cuts it here. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would move Sparkle Spoo down here. I would move Sparkle Spoo down here to the meta tier. I would probably, what I would do, honestly, is probably drop Asta down. I would probably drop Hanya down. I would probably keep HMC right here. I would probably move Bronya down to this tier because of SP and efficiency. I saw an E4 Acheron team. I shit you not. Someone in my stream had an E4 Acheron user on this team, and they could barely score a 3,000 score with an E4 Acheron using this on the team, so absolutely not. This was E3, by the way, so no. For that reason, she's getting her ass moved to the Shadow Realm. Then we have Palo, which is a very AoE oriented, though I would probably move her down as well, honestly. Like, I would move her down to this tier, and I would keep Ting Yun in the same tier just because energy with this particular patch and like the units that are very good with this pure fiction are very energy oriented, like characters Aventurine, for example, very good with energy, so I'd probably keep her in the same tier for now. I'd probably just about move everyone else down, though. I mean, like, you can probably just scoot and boot about everyone down this tier list here, keep her the same, it doesn't really matter. Really just these right here to clear the gaps up a little bit and then move these characters down. I think everyone else here on this tier list stays the same, but that's my current thoughts on the support category for this pure fiction. Now let's move over to the specialist category because, oh boy, actually, I can agree with this, actually, for the most part. And not gonna lie here. Yeah, very, very good. Jade, obviously, number one still. Jade's absolutely laps and claps stuff up. This right here, very good option. I do think that Firefly on a break team is a lot more beneficial for this particular patch, so I would keep her up here too. I absolutely cleared everything with her. Like I said, very break oriented. A reason why I'd be moving her up. I do honestly think if I would probably move her up here, actually. I do think she helped me out a bit more than what the Topaz and this did, even though I do have E1 S1 Topaz. Even still, I was able to get a better score with Firefly here than I was my full send follow-up team. So I would be moving her up for that reason. We'll touch on the curious case of Miss Girly over here in a second, trust me, because I have some thoughts on that. But other than this, honestly, for this specialist category, I can pretty much agree with just about everything around the board here. Yeah, Mose gets absolutely clobbered and blobbered this fucking patch, brother. Honestly, probably move him up. I could see him getting moved up. There are a lot of imaginary weak enemies, and you can throw him on a break build, and he does work decently well, or he works very nichely, right? So probably move Welt up just a tad bit. I mean, that's really the only adjustment I think I would make to this specialist category here. Now let's move on to the DPS category, because man. Because some people on the internet would have you think that Herta and her both get moved down this patch. I disagree. I think they both work well. I will say, though, I really don't think they're as effective this current pure fiction as they have been for the other pure fictions that we've had, right? Because I mean, like, there are not really any ice weak enemies on the field. There are a lot of fire weak enemies, so sure, Himiko works out great, but you're not getting a lot of shield breaks with her, which is the whole kind of point of it. Now, I get that there's a buff to help out follow-up attacks and stuff like that, but these enemies are a lot tankier, it seems like, and it's a lot harder to get through and kill them. So, I mean, like, I don't think necessarily Herta's as good this patch. I still think she's top tier here. I'd probably put her behind Himiko just because she's lacking that type advantage. That's really the only reason I put her there. I absolutely think he does slap and clap this current pure fiction because yeah, he's just very good AoE oriented. Physical typing is very bountiful here too, and he has a very easy time of breaking enemy shield, which will then activate the whimsical buff, which then helps destroy enemies even faster and even more. So for that reason, definitely move him up here. I think he absolutely deserved this spot here. Guys, let's be honest, with how pretty he looks, he definitely was at one of those parties. I'm sorry, Himiko was too. Anyway, sorry gamers, the DDD brain rot is on the mind right now. Let's go ahead and move down to tier 0.5. Acheron absolutely clears this shit, but like I said, I saw an E4 Acheron get absolutely almost eviscerated with a 3,000 score, barely making a 3,000 score, using I think it was like an E2 or E3 Bronya. So yeah, things aren't looking up too much, guys, okay? Things aren't looking too much up for Bronya, but for her, I'm glad that she was able to do it with that dog shit unit. So for that matter, yeah, keep Acheron up here. I agree with that. Yuan Lee as well. They attack so many times. She's very good. Clar's always been really good because there's so many enemies in the field they attack. But I mean, I could definitely keep her up here too. And then Blade too. I think Blade is finally getting some fucking respect on his name, guys. I fucking love seeing Blade get some respect on his name because he has been put in the dirt too many times. I swear to God. Okay. So seeing him up here is very, very nice. Feixiao, he goes up here. She at least goes tier 1. She absolutely slaps this pure fiction. I mean, what score did I even get? I think I got like a 3600 score with her. Now, of course, I was using a balls to the walls, busted ass follow-up team, right? But even still, she was E0S1. Clap this. I mean, she got through it very easily on auto, basically. I would definitely, for that fact alone, just put her up here, even though that she was with an E1S1 Topaz, which does make a bit of difference. I do get that, right? Even still, without that, I have people in my community that were still able to beat this pure fiction with her. So, for that matter, I'd be moving her up here into the tier 1 as well. I think Zila is not as good this current MOC. Maybe she's just losing relevancy, surely, right? And everything else here, yeah, I tried using the general with Serval. Guys, tell me about this, right? I have a little rant I want to go on, right? Let's go down here. Tell me why Serval just looks like she has the perfect kit for pure fiction, right? Like, she has the full AoE send, right? She has a low costing ult, so she can keep spamming it, right? She can use the passkey light cone to keep regening ult. She has okay break damage. She has dot on her kit, bro. Like, why is she just not working well? Oh my god, bro. I really want to revitalize and make a video on Serval because I feel like, I just feel like she's there. She just needs a little extra oomph to really get back up there, okay? I'm going to try to make it my goal. If you don't see a video, then it didn't happen, obviously. But, man, I really do feel like Serval has what it takes to really compete. Now, Jing Liu, on the other hand, there's not really ice weak enemies. She's not really effective. So, for that matter, we keep her in tier 2. Do I think she's worse than the general? I don't think she's worse than the general. I think they're on par. I don't think they move her down. I think they keep her the same. Same thing with Zila as well. I think they, honestly, I'd probably say even moves. No, I think Zila's a little bit better than the general is. Just because you're having to wait so long for this particular game mode for Lightning Lord to come back around and really killing those enemy waves as fast as possible is very much key in this. With his Lightning Lord only coming up every so often, maybe if you have him like E2 or something like that, I think E2 is the one that gives you extra AoE damage, then that could help. But outside of that, kind of cringe, kind of copium. Everything else here, I mean, I can pretty much agree with. I mean, Arlon, no, Arlon goes to the top, guys. Okay, guys. Hot take alert. Yeah, Arlon, he's in tier negative edge, okay, guys? He's in tier negative edge because he is just so good. But overall, gamers, this is my adjustments that I have made to this current Pure Fiction tier list. Give you my explanations on that. Now, I want you to go to the comment section down below and tell me where I'm wrong at because I would love to argue in the comments. I love arguing with people, and I would love to argue with you too. Unless you make a dumbass take, then maybe I won't argue with you. Anyway, so now let's go ahead and talk about Lingsha because I do have some takes about Lingsha, and then we probably won't get an MO. I don't know when we're getting our MOC tier list. We'll probably go into more depth with it then. But honestly, I just don't think this is the case. I don't think that Lingsha and Gallagher are on the same tier at all. I think that she is better than Gallagher in just about every way. Maybe he's more SP friendly than her, but overall, other than that, I think just about every way that she is, like, he has advanced 4, but that's what gives him his SP friendliness, I feel like, right? No, because you use ultimate and then you get an SP back with the action advance 4. Like, she has a follow-up attack, right, which is basically like an action advance forward. Like, you're getting additional action. So I feel like the advance is just kind of stupid to put here because that's just making him SP friendly in a way, right? Whereas her summons don't give her SP, but it's like an action advance, right? Am I just coping here? I don't know, but I would probably move him down to this tier. I think that he is a tier below of what she can do. Same thing can be said here too, man. I think that either you move him down to the tier 1 category with Fushuan, have her in her own category up here, and then move Locha down a tier, and then kind of just like bombard everyone down 1 tier. Like for the MOC tier list, honestly, what I would probably just do is I would say that she stays in this tier right here because I do think that these two sustains are better than her after playing with her some. I would probably move Gallagher down 1 tier. I'd probably move Fushuan down 1 tier. I'd probably move this down 1. I basically just move everything down 1 tier. just to make room for her in her own little tier, because I do feel like she is a direct power creep to Gallagher. It's hard to say though, because feixiao offers her own unique things as well that are very different. Like, she's very break oriented, obviously, and she's very much so hyper carry oriented. Overall, I feel like that it's so hard to grade this, right? Because I feel like in terms of like what these characters are able to offer, I feel like in terms of sustainability, him and her, like, bar for bar are the same here. I feel like she offers more sustainability, more breaking than him. Like, it's so hard to rate these characters now. It's getting harder and harder to rate these characters because they fit into niches so well that, like, is one really, like, that much better than the other one, right? Because you get things with feixiao that you don't get with these characters, but he's a better sustain than she is, in my opinion. But if he's on par with feixiao, then, and she's better than him, wouldn't that technically make her better than both of them? Even though that she gives a... I don't know. Anyways, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to make a full video on this when the MOC gets reset and we do a tier list there. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. And you, make sure you're joining the Prydwyn tier list parties whenever they get released by hitting that subscribe button so you know when these videos are released, so you can join in the party in the comment section down below.